In exploring the science that I have found around spirituality, it definitely has opened my mind up, as well as other people that I've spoke to and shared this knowledge with, and had discussions with, and almost everyone who I have had these discussions with, they sort of have had a similar realization that what they have believed for most of their life is actually not true. And it even goes back as far as what is in what we are taught in school. General population is taught in school around many things, such as matter, and quantum physics has recently cracked open a can of worms that many call spiritual science.
What I was just going to ask is, well, you kind of started going into it with what those most common false beliefs are, like in particular, like
matter. What is matter?
Yeah, I feel like that's
what is a solid piece of matter?
Yeah, and I feel like that's a
what is a solid piece of matter made of?
That's a big one.
What is a solid? I'm asking you, what is a solid piece of matter made of? From the typical point of view, from what do most people believe a solid piece of matter consists of?
Of solid mass of whatever that
material
is.
You would think.
All the way through and through. But
that's not the reality of it.
And I don't even think...
Which is still hard for me to grasp.
Right,
and I've explored the depths of trying to understand it myself. And
right, you didn't even say what the truth is.
It still doesn't make sense. And so that's something that I sort of like about S.U.R.C.H is that, we're not even saying, be without a doubt, for 1,000% sure that spirituality is real, because even those who wholeheartedly believe that, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are right, because we all believe things and come to find out what we believe is not right. So there really is no proving it, even if there's proof that might not be accurate, considering, here's another big one, that matter behaves differently when being observed, hence the observer effect. So even if we measure something and we figure out, okay, it's 12 inches. However, if no one is observing that 12-inch board or whatever it is you're measuring, then it likely does not even exist as a 12-inch board. It turns into wiggly wisdom. It turns into waves of light and
waves of what do they call it? Waves.
Energy. It is energy.
No, but waves of every possibility. Waves of potential.
Yeah.
That's what.
I think it's more in potential because the energy is there. So I believe it's more so waves of energy that has the possibility to be practically anything, right? And then when somebody goes to look at it, it sort of snaps into shape. And I
feel like that doesn't even sound real. I feel like...
No, it's unbelievable.
Most of the people that we even ask if they've ever heard of it, and it's a common...
The double slit experiment...
Nobody's heard of it.
Which led to the observer effect. And that is... I got to figure out the exact way it was phrased. What it proves is that, what we see as reality is undoubtedly not what it really is.
Yeah.
So that discovery in itself certainly opened my mind up to the likelihood to suggest that spirituality is far more likely than not likely, considering how miraculous life in the world already is in what we see, and then come to find out what we see is actually not even what it is. And even ourselves are made up of matter, along with everything else we see, and all matter is made up of 99.9999996% empty space. And so that is another mind-blowing, belief-changing fact.
It doesn't make sense.
That we are 99% empty space. But they're like, no, we're actually made of 70% water. Well, what is water made of? 99% empty space. if you found this topic interesting, we invite you to comment below, give us a like, share, subscribe as we continue our journey venturing into the depths of the unknown. You can also find us on S.U.R.C.H. That's S-U-R-C-H .website, and you can find more of our content there as well. We are just beginning to scratch the surface on many topics as such, which is recently being defined as spiritual science. We try our best to keep it fact-based, and if you have any input on these topics or find any errors or contradictions in what we are discussing, please, again, give us a comment below. We're happy to discuss it. We are open-minded, and, I consider myself a student and a teacher at the same time. I'm always learning, especially on topics as such, can be really complex to unpack. So we invite anyone who, has the mind to even think down these roads with us. So please give us a follow. Check us out more on S.U.R.C.H. S.U.R.C.H. .website.